again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars, and today we're going to do the complete guide for White Knight Noel, who I am so happy to finally have. Oh, man. Any of you who've been watching me for a while know that I love tanks more than anything else, and so what could I possibly love more than a tank that is a literal tank? Okay, so this is like actual Christmas for me, delivered by a Christmas-themed tank. It's beautiful. And he is White Knight Noel is a surprisingly intricate unit with a lot of fun and interesting ways that you can build him. So we're going to take a deep dive into that today, talk about some of the unique things that they added to White Knight Noel's kit, and how you can get the most out of it. So without further ado, let's jump right into some of his new stuff. First of all, his STMR was added, which is Noel's Legacy, which boosts HP, Magic, Spirit, and Magic when equipped with a Rod, and Spirit when equipped with a Light or Heavy Shield. And this actually gives quite a substantial amount of Magic, to the point that you would actually want to equip this on one of your mages, let alone White Knight Noel, who would benefit from this tremendously, especially if you're using White Knight Noel as like a combo damage tanker type unit, which he can be. So, very nice STMR. There's not really any use for having multiple 7-star White Knight Noels, so go for that STMR if you have the option. Now, in addition to that, they added some excellent things. With his TMR equipped, which let's review that real quick, that's the Ice Rosetta, which gives 50 defense and 50 magic, in addition to 25% ice resistance. So, nice TMR, very good on mages, very good on him as well. When you have it equipped, you gain access to Ultimate Defense, which boosts his magic, HP, and MP by 20%, as well as wind resistance by 50%, and he auto-casts charm resistance at the beginning of every battle, if I understand it correctly, right? Is that what you did when we zone in here? Is that what you did? I believe so, look at that. Resistant to charm, heck yeah. I think a lot of tanks have that, and it's a nice thing to have for when charm rolls around. So, moving right along, he got a magic AoE cover, which is amazing. It has very strong mitigation, and it combines super well with his Provoke ability, Bring It On, which we'll talk about some of his wombo combos here in a minute. In addition to that, he got something that surprised me a little bit. He got Power Mode, which is basically dual cast. However, it doesn't specify which type of magic, it simply says magic. So if you wanted to do something cheeky, like give him a healing staff so that he could dual cast Curas, or if you wanted to give him like the Aura staff so he can dual cast Dispels, you can do cheeky stuff like that with him because it doesn't specify which magic type. So, fun fact, keep that one in your back pocket just in case you need it. Now, he also got additional passives, and like all of his other passives, and we're going to glaze over these because most people don't really care, like what the specifics are. The gist of it is, if you want him to do more damage, you equip things like robes and rods, and if you want him to be more tanky, you equip him with helmets and shields, okay? That's about it. So for example, shield proficiency is HP, defense, and spirit by 20% when equipped with a light or heavy shield. Actually, that may be one of his 6-star ones. I don't know where this cuts off. No, that should be a 7-star one. I'm super tired, you guys. You have no idea. War tactics is similar. When you have a hat equipped, you get extra magic. When you have a helmet equipped, you get extra defense. So, same sort of thing. Build him like a tank if you want him tankier. Build him like a mage if you want him magier. Now, in addition to that, he got Blizzard Ward, which boosts ice and wind resistance to all allies, and it reduces damage taken for self. And it's 75% general mitigation, which stacks with his Bring It On mitigation, so it actually makes him, like, I'm at a loss for words for how tanky he is. It's really silly. He takes so little damage. So, amazing cooldown for keeping himself alive, or if you need to buff resistance for your party for those elements. Now, the ultimate plot twist that I did not see coming is that they gave him dual wield. They gave him dual wield for the stuff that he can innately equip, which is a little bit crazy. They also gave him true dual wield for magic. So, if you really want him to dish out magic damage, he has so many magic passives, and you can have him dual wield, and he will just absolutely trash people. It's hilarious. And we'll get into some of those abilities that help him with trashing other people here in a second. Additionally, he got another passive called Strategic Arms that give him Magic, Spirit, and MP when equipped with a Rod, Spirit, HP, and MP with a Staff, HP, Defense, and Spirit when equipped with a Mace. So keeping these passives in mind is really helpful. If you do decide to dual wield so that you can get a little of everything, keep in mind which passives you're going for. Doing a Staff and a Mace give you quite a bit of HP, Defense, Spirit, and MP, which is great. If you want a little more damage, go for a Rod and a Mace, or a Rod and a Staff. I mean, combine them how you want, or you can go with a shield as well if you're just going for tankiness. So, very, very nice to have that. This ability is really interesting. Overdrive Activate. It's a cooldown skill that can be used on turn 1 and every 5 turns thereafter. It boosts magic by 200%, restores HP by 10,000, restores MP by, I think it was 300 or something like that, and it gives him turbo mode for 3 turns, which is a triple cast skill. And this is effectively 4 turns, so basically he'll cast it, and then he'll be able to use it 3 times. So if you want to use him as a magic damage dealer, he's got the whole kit for it, and you can get his magic silly high. Like, you can get his magic way, way, way high. So, and we'll look at that here in a minute with some builds. Now, his last passive is really nice, boosts his magic and defense, and gives him a death escape when his HP is above 5%. So basically, they give him all of the last things that he needs to be an amazing, amazing tank, and then they threw in some more spells on top of it. So, he really is a lot of fun, because you can use this power mode, you can chain Tornado and Eroja and do the self-capping thing that you could do with Barbarisia and others, or Freeze is one of his new spells that up until now has been unique to Medina. So now you have Freeze, and I think there's a way you can cap it with another spell. I don't actually have a Medina, so I can't really tell you. Yeah, that would not cap, so you'd have to figure out something else. But anyways, it's nice to have it so that you can have him chain up with 2 different chaining families with these abilities. And yeah, the other thing that they did is they made his Limit Burst awesome. So it boosts magic, defense, and spirit by 120% base, 150% max, and restores MP percentage based to all allies. And before it was really poopy, now it's really, really good. You see, that was 183 magic or MP right there, which is awesome. And the buffs are good. They're really, really good. I'm really stoked with the direction that they took White Knight Noel. I think they did him justice. Now, as far as how to use him, that's going to be the question that a lot of people ask. So here's the important stuff for you to know. First of all, his Bring It On Provoke is the most broken tank ability in the game, and that's my official opinion, and I don't think I'll back down from that anytime soon. It buffs his magic, defense, and spirit by 150%, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, and it brings up his target chance to 100% with his draw attacks passive, and it decreases his damage taken for 3 turns. What it means, what it's not telling you, is that it gives you 50% physical mitigation and 50% magical mitigation. Now, all other Provoke tanks in the game, except for Sieghart, who's a special case, they just have general mitigation, which does not stack with like other buffed mitigation. So if you're using Zargaboth and he has this 50% buff on his Limit Burst, sorry, that's not stacking with Provokes on other tanks, except for Sieghart, because his is physical. With White Knight Noel, it stacks. So if he's doing his magic cover ability, I'll protect you, and he has Bring It On up, and you're using something like Zargaboth's Limit Burst, he's getting 50% mitigation for physical, 50% mitigation for magical, 50% generic mitigation, and then his 50 to 70% damage mitigation from the cover. And then on top of it, you can use Steel, which buffs his split mitigation to 75% for 1 turn, which is basically, with White Knight Noel, this is almost as powerful as like other tanks' cooldown skills, and he can spam it for 12 MP. So yeah, he doesn't want to die. Also, if you super don't want to die, you can also opt for his Blizzard Ward cooldown skill, which is 75% general mitigation on himself for a turn as well. So amazing, amazing, amazing. I don't think I can talk up this unit enough as far as tanking prowess is concerned. he's got everything that you could possibly need. So, yeah, if you're looking for tanking, go for Bring It On. Essential to have buffed. Go for I'll Protect You. He will not go down easily. he's on a giant Magitech tank. He's going to be hard to take down. Other support skills that I like to weave in, I might chain up so that I can use a finisher or something like that with Tornado. He can actually do some pretty reasonable damage with Tornado and Eroja finishing. His Limit Burst is obviously a great support option for MP management and buffs. And Glacial Wave for on-demand imperiling. So he's got a really nice support kit, lots of things that he can do. Overall, fantastic kit. So then a lot of people ask, they're like, well, how do you even begin to build this guy? Because you could build him like Demon Rain, who Demon Rain's kit like slots him super hard into double hand. But White Knight Noel is a special case. So let's take a look at his builds real quick. Let's hop on over here. So, this is roughly probably what one of his better tank builds would look like. Of course, best in slot tanking is going to change fight to fight. It's going to depend on what you need. So some fights you'll need Safety Bit or Genji Shield for death immunity, or you'll need elemental resistance for your magic cover tank. If you just want to go for pure tankiness and you're using him as a provoker in addition to being a cover tank, this is what I'd go for. Lilith's TMR comes in super handy for White Knight Noel if you happen to have it. If you don't, no big deal. But it, with the rare mod from Item World, it gives 50% HP, and then he also has a passive for another 30%. I think it's 30% with the mace equipped. So that's just for equipping this alone, that's 80% HP with the rare mod from Item World, plus 20% defense and spirit. I think, no, it's 10% from the flail. You can roll more, plus 95 spirit. So for magic tanking, I recommend this weapon as very highly. You can also use a staff. For some people, for his other hand, if you don't have the Reverie shield or an STMR shield, then you can dual wield a second weapon, and it can be tankier than using a shield. So for example, if you actually have Ayaka as STMR, oh wait, I have to trash that. Ayaka STMR, and let's say you got some super baller rolls on it, of course, because we're just theory crafting. Okay, we're just looking at what you can do. Oh wait, did his tankiness just go up? Yeah. Okay, so his magical tankiness went up by doing that. So that's the crazy thing about him, is that you can actually play with all sorts of dual wield builds to get as much value out of him as possible. Oh, that's why. It's because it adds some HP with the staff. I forgot. I only just got Ayaka's STMR, so I forget these things. So, amazing. Play around with your dual wielding, or if you just want to do a weapon and a shield or whatever, find what works best for tanking for you based on what equipment you have. It's going to depend. I highly recommend taking a mace/flail, whatever the heck they want to call them. Take it through Item World, get some rare mods on it. That's going to be a great way to get a lot of benefit from it, because that's 30% HP. That's a big jump for a lot of people, especially if you're newer to the game. Definitely always keep Ice Rosetta equipped, and then I usually like to equip Shiva because mine has single target reflection boost, so he just gets a little more stats out of it. She has super high spirit, and she has super high magic as well, which is an excellent combination for White Knight Noel. Of course, if you're using him as a damage dealer, you should equip whichever Esper gives him magical killers appropriate for your opponent. But if you're just using him for generic tanking and you don't need him to have a specific elemental resistance, Shiva is my go-to, as opposed to Golem, which I feel like is kind of the go-to for physical tanks. So now let's look real quick at a build that you might do. So I have a lot of the stuff to be able to do this build myself. We're going to do that, and I'm not going to do another STMR because that's a little rich for me, but this, for example, is a build that I'm able to make. What is it called? It's Mateus Malice. Okay, so I have that, and then for the helmet, or for the hat slot, you want to do that Royal Crown, I think it's called? Yeah. So you'll see his passives totally swap over as you start changing equipment on him. So which one's the real one? There you are. And this is awesome. So, like I, for example, have Sakura's robe, which is amazing. Oh, spoiler alert, his magic's getting really high already. Because he does dual wield magic, you do want flat magic accessories. So if you have 7-star White Knight Noel, you're going to have the option to get another one of these. It's great for mages, especially if they're at the percentage cap, so I would recommend getting one. I'm not going to throw up any other STMRs though, because I feel like I've already gone too rich on the... Nope, I lied. Because I'm only going to put up ones that I actually have, because I've played around with some of these. Let's do Corrupt Emperor. Let's do... Hello? Rod Mastery. Rod Mastery. Guys, this is so fun. I love White Knight Noel so much. It is like actual Christmas. Dark Bond. Bond. The name is Bond. Dark Bond. Okay, got it. And then, do I want to peek yet? No, it'd spoil it. Okay, and then let's do another something. Should we see what it looks like with Christine's STMR? Let's just do it. I don't have... oops, I need to spell her name right. Christine's STMR is ridiculous, and it gives you true dual wield for magic. And then let's throw some item world rolls on this, because I actually got really amazing ones for Circe's STMR. I got really lucky on those. And then I think I have like 27 on one of my... yeah, that's 27. Okay. So yeah, 2200 magic. Okay. And the fact that he can triple cast, and he has a pretty okay damage rotation for a 7-star unit. So to have a cooldown skill that gives him triple cast, and then he can, you know, finish on his own spells, and he has freeze and tornado chaining abilities, freeze and tornado themselves. So awesome. I mean, it's really hard to find something to complain about with White Knight Noel, because he has so many great things. So that's just what you can play around with his builds. Obviously put what you have available, but this is more to showcase that you can really get his magic super high, much like many other mages in the game, and he can do a competitive amount of damage with it, whether it's through counters or actual cast abilities. So with that, the question is White Knight Noel worth an investment for you? Meaning, is it worth pulling on his banner for him? Is it worth using the FanFest UOCs for him? I mean, I love his sprite, so for me it was a no-brainer. I pulled one last year off of like 3 tickets. I was like absurdly lucky, but I love his kit so much. I love the way he looks. I was just excited about him when he rolled around. So I was like, you know, I pulled for one, super excited to use him, and then didn't use him as much because, you know, he wasn't always favored, rather, because sometimes you wanted a cover tank and he pretty much only provoked, and then he pretty much only imperiled ice, and that was his only support. But that's no longer the case, and so he's really evolved quite a lot into a super robust unit that can do a lot for your team. So for that reason alone, I would say if you don't have Awakened Rain and you don't want to spend 2 sets of UOCs to get him, definitely go for White Knight Noel, because you can get a comparable amount of tanking and a comparable amount of support in his kit without having to spring 2 full sets of UOCs. You can use those FanFesta ones, you can pull on the banner that has started this week, and you can get that tanking value from him, because I really truly believe that he brings it. That Provoke is honestly the most unique part about White Knight Noel, and it makes him uniquely impossible to kill. So highly recommended for that reason. So if you already have Awakened Rain, in that case I would say you could go for White Knight Noel if you really wanted him, but otherwise you don't have to. I went for White Knight Noel a year ago because I really liked his sprite and I love tanks. And then this year when they gave us the FF UOCs, I was like, hello, this is for White Knight Noel, because I only have one and I'm not going to pull on that banner. So anyways, that's about it. That covers most of the things you may want to know. Takeaway tips in a short summary would be make sure he's enhanced. Make sure you play around with the dual wield options with the items that you have, because you may actually be able to build him tankier using 2 weapons instead of a weapon and a shield, and have fun obliterating people with probably one of the most fun counter tanks in the game. So that covers the complete guide for White Knight Noel. If you enjoyed what you watched, please let me know in the comments below, and if there's anything else you would like to see in future content, please tell me, and I will see everybody in the next one.